Yeah, I'm streaming from my MacBook, which I have not done in a long time. I actually like when I first started streaming on Twitch, maybe the first couple years, I was streaming from my 2012 MacBook Pro. But since then, I've upgraded machines and experimenting with a different operating system than usual. So I think what I'll do is I'll just hop into the arena. I'll play chess. This probably won't be a long stream, but hopefully will be somewhat instructive. Okay. Playing Lokoramone. Let's play e4. And we have a Sicilian. I've been going through different things of like weapons against Sicilian. Like usually I play knight c3, but I can play this, I can play this. I think I'll play an Alapin, pawn c3. Getting more experience in this opening. e5. We'll see how prepared my opponent is. So I think the main move here... Oh, I have to watch out for the arrows. I've reduced the board size, so the mouse is a bit more sensitive. Let's play this move. Actually, let's play this move. Hello to QTC. Thanks for the 1,000 bits. Can people hear the TTS? Or is that just me who can hear it? I'm pretty sure TTS is not working. There's some weird like security settings with the Mac. Oh, is it audible? Maybe I can turn it up then. Oh, maybe it wasn't audible. Yeah. I was trying to troubleshoot a little bit. I should focus on what to do here. E6 is not a... Definitely not the main line. Usually black plays d6 or d5 immediately. So I think d4 is pretty standard. I could castle first too. Maybe there's some logic to castling first and preserving d4 for later. Oh, you can't even hear Roxie. Yeah, maybe eventually have to wait until later in the stream. I do have my tea though. Have some yellow tea today. I'm actually wondering, like, usually in the main lines, white takes en passant. But in this position, I could play d4 and we transpose into a French advanced. And usually in the French, like, the knight doesn't come to b6. And d4, c4, I play bishop c2. The bishop is actually really well placed. So I think I will play d4 here. So it's basically a French advance, but my bishop is weirdly placed and black's knight is weirdly placed. I'm not sure if this is theory, but it looks interesting. Okay, so we do trade. Now the benefit of the trade, at least for white, is a c3 square becomes vacated, so I can more naturally develop with knight c3. It's sometimes an issue in exchange French as this knight has a hard time finding a clear home. Thank you, Nuddlesbeer. So I'm hearing the TTS, but I don't think Chad is hearing it. But I hope your travels went well, Nuddlesbeer. Okay, let's play bishop c2. I think bishop c2 is the most flexible move. Like already some ideas of creating the battery, maybe inducing g6 to get in bishop h6. There's times where I'll play a3 to restrict knight b4, or even b3 to restrict knight c4. Sometimes a combination of these moves. Yeah, so text-to-speech is off right now. I'll have to troubleshoot it when I get the chance. I wonder if I could There might be a trick around this to re-enable it. Maybe after this game, I'll troubleshoot a little bit. Maybe get chat to help me. But let me try and still focus here. So I'd like to organize some attack. Knight g5 is off limits, unfortunately. Like, the position seems ripe for a Greek gift, but this bishop on e7, it kind of ruins my dreams. A move like h4 doesn't really help. It'd be nice if my rook were still on h1. So it's a question what to do. There's a funny idea here to play bishop h6. And then if takes, then I play queen d3. I feel like there's no way that can work. Also, what's my follow-up if black just ignores it? Maybe I'm then threatening queen d3. Is it crazy? Bishop h6? Black plays like rook c8? Or what if black plays knight b4? Knight b4, bishop b1, and then take, and then a3. And then, let's say the knight moves back. And then I play queen d3, f5, and then I take. So I'm threatening mate. Rook f7, I take. So it's just one big fancy trade. I think I'd rather start with a3. Yeah, let's start with a3. I think this is way less risky, requires less calculation. That way, if I want to, I could start with queen d3 and then later bishop h6 and not have to overcomplicate things. But maybe bishop h6 is an idea for next move. Like if black doesn't challenge me, let's say black plays a5, bishop h6 with a threat of queen d3 is still interesting. Okay, so bishop h6. I mean, how crazy do I want to be here? Take queen d3, f5, take rook f7. I'm realizing there's another line to calculate. So bishop h6, take, queen d3, f5, take, and then rook takes is maybe possible. Queen takes h7, king f8. Then queen h8, king f7. I could perpet. Knight e5, knight takes e5. Oh, what if I play queen h7? Okay, so I'm getting very deep in calculation. So I'm calculating knight e5, knight takes e5, and then I move back to h7 check. The king goes here, and then I take, hitting the rook. A rook moves anywhere, bishop g6 is coming. Rook f7, there's queen h8 mate. I think I'm going to go for it. It's just not an idea that I've seen before. It feels like this should at least be some like thematic idea because this attacking setup is so common. But I'm essentially taking advantage of the fact the g7 pawn is pinned now. And with queen d3 coming, like h7 becomes a pretty big liability. Yeah, after the game, I'm sure I'll do some analysis like with engine. The opening was a c3 Sicilian. It started as a Sicilian, very quickly transposed into a French advanced variation. Bishop h6. Oh. I mean, the big picture idea, I'm trying to take advantage of the fact that these pieces don't really help defend the black king. And even if I sack a piece, I'm going to have more attacking potential, hopefully. Now, I didn't really put much emphasis on what happens if black just ignores the fact my bishop is here. But again, if black plays like a move like a5, then queen d3, and if I provoke g6, I win the exchange. So maybe we'll see rook e8, and then still queen d3. Okay, I have to go for queen d3 now. I mean, this is the only move, I think. I take en passant. So I'm threatening the bishop and mate in one. Now, yeah, rook f7 and rook f6 were the two moves for black. And this is exactly what I was calculating. So queen h8, king f7. So I'm down a piece. Black is offering a queen trade. If I want to, I can perpet, but I want more than just perpet. So I guess I'll calculate this line again. Knight e5 is almost checkmate. Black's only legal move is to take, and then queen h7. King has to move here, here. But regardless, I hit the rook. And the rook's going to be driven away from the g6 square, also the h6 pawn, which I could take with check in some cases. So yeah, I think this is pretty forcing. I'm so curious to analyze this after the game. It's such a unique combination, and it's such a deep combination too. So now I take. So I'm still down a piece. But the rook is hit. If I can take the rook with the pawn, then it's just winning for white. So maybe this is the best try. But there, okay, I can take with check. I can start winning back material. Black's king will still be exposed. This is a nice thing about classical chess is I have more time to kind of delve into these interesting lines. I guess I should start calculating, like rook f5. If I take right away, pawn takes. And black will have two bishops. Wait, what's the pawn count? I guess I'll have rook and two pawns for two bishops, like once I win h6. And that should be enough. Like there's potential for e6 in some lines. But maybe it's not completely winning. I might have to like somehow bring the knight into play. Maybe play f4 at some point. Another idea, like let's say rook f5. Opponent just resigns. I mean, yeah, black should at least try rook f5. I was about to say rook f5, I was maybe considering g4 as an interesting option. But then rook g5, maybe it's still complicated. Yeah, that was a little bit anticlimactic. It's still super interesting. Engine says, yeah, white's like close to winning here. Oh, bishop c5. Another. How does bishop c5? On bishop c5, I just take the rook. And then, yeah, I'm up a clean exchange here. And rook f5. Oh, so engine likes taking on h6 first. Let's say king f7. And then we cash in. And then best line, queen h7, king f8. Knight b5, wow. I don't think I was finding knight b5. Rook e1 looks natural though. Huge advantage to white. So going back, was bishop h6 a objectively fine move? Engine doesn't quite like it. Oh, because of f5 first. But f5 first I was gonna take. Ah, rook takes, chases away the bishop. Okay, so maybe I was overly creative there. I should probably start with queen d3. Yeah, queen d3, g6, and then bishop h6 was the normal approach. That was a fun game, though. Oh, question about this knight b5 move, which I was not going to find. What line was that? Here takes rook. Oh, so there was rook f5. Here, here. Oh, no, it was taking first. Good morning. Asios, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, actually, this is a great question. How does this work? Probably e6. Oh, e6 is mate in 2. Wow. So bishop is tied down to defending against this pawn push. That's a great example how pawn and queen can just overpower all of black's defenses because black's defenses aren't really that effective. King is left a bit abandoned. Anyway, yeah, the dog is actually outside right now. I'm gonna let her in. I'll be back for another game, so stay tuned. We have the full camera view. Roxie, who's a good girl? You're a good girl. Yes, you are. Should I just reconfigure the layout to have like larger camera and smaller chessboard? Yeah, thank you, Fing Duster. Um, okay, let me try and do a few things here. The first part of this game might be what did I do? Where's my window? There we go. Oh, it's a London opening. There we go. So I'm gonna do this and then this. And then this. Roxy's trying to lick the microphone, I think. Let's take and play knight c6. Ooh, queen takes d4. Unexpected. All right, let's play knight f6. Okay, so there's a few things to do with this layout. I keep hiding the window too. Okay, well, Roxy's gonna maybe hide from the camera. Uh, but there's some streamers who have like a similar layout to this, where it's like the camera's larger, and then the board is a bit smaller. This feels like an awkward view, though. How to make this more normal? I guess I could zoom out. Roxy. Roxy, look. Look. We're entering the middle game. Yes, we are. Safe king. Solid development. Setting up some discoveries. Okay, bishop a6. Does this feel like a Botez stream? Or an Anna Kramling stream? Yeah, there's definitely more potential to have like I don't know, like a dog cam or just a different scenery once in a while. All right, let's play e5. So far, this game is just a matter of making natural, sensible moves, gaining space. Have the bishop pair already. I can keep playing positionally. I think I will. Knight h5 looks nice. Ooh, knight b3. So opponent maybe is eyeing the c5 square. I'm liking queen b6. Nice kind of prophylactic move, improving move. Preparing rook d8. Trying to make all the pieces happy. What are you doing, Roxie? What are you doing? I have I'll be right back. Ooh. Hey, your mug came. You should drink some tea. Maybe some green tea, some herbal tea. Thank you, Christine HB. Okay, this is a very happy position. You're happy, Roxie? You're happy? We're gonna play f5. f5? Yeah, f5, why not? Gaining more space. King h1, wow. I think at some point we should probably take the bishop. But it's a matter of finding a plan here too. Like f4 is a move to consider. c5 is a consideration too. And getting some connect 4. What else to consider? Roxie just wants a toy. g5, no, g5 hangs a f5 pawn. Have to be a little bit careful. Okay, what to do? I could take the bishop. It's one of these positions that there's probably nothing like concretely winning, but a lot of good looking options. Thank you, Curios. Okay, Roxy's less interested here. Can I switch back to the normal scene? Okay, normal scene. Alright, what to do? Take the bishop, knight takes. Basically, I want to try and build up some sort of advantage. Like, maybe take and f4. Take, hitting the knight. If knight goes back, I win the pawn. Knight goes back to f1. That's like very, very passive. Yeah, let's start by taking. 2 bishops versus 2 knights. Oh, do people already miss Roxie? I think she wants to take a nap. Yeah, I should set up like another dog cam of some sort. Hey, Roxie. Yeah, not too interested in playing right now. Okay, so opponent's debating between, yeah, probably between h takes and knight takes. So f4 was my original idea, but I'm realizing I should calculate a little bit deeper. So takes, and then knight f1. Am I really getting anything there? Because f2 is defended by the queen. I do concede the d4 square in that line. So maybe I keep slow playing, like rook b8. This is the only piece that's not developed in some way. And now there might actually be a threat of bishop c4. Because knight is now a bit pinned to the b2 pawn. And if white plays a move like rook b1, maybe I played e4. Like creating the pawn triangle, setting up bishop d3. Yeah, I didn't want to play e4 too soon because it does concede the square. But eventually it could be nice. e4 is a type of move that makes both bishops happier. Okay, so we see knight e2. And yeah, probably bishop c4 here. Keeping control. Knight c1, wow. So now I have a5. And this is going to be probably the final straw, which is hopefully going to make white's queenside crumble. Because knight's still pinned, and I'm threatening a4. White playing a4 hangs a knight. The bishop takes b3. Not so simple for white to defend. There might be one move to defend, though. Knight d2. I think rook b1 was necessary there. With knight d2, I can take. And I don't mind if we trade. Like, takes, 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 takes. I might wind up with double c-pawns, but pawn on c4 is actually really strong in restricting the knight on c1. And I'd love to get in the move e4. I'm also hitting f2. Yeah, there's a few things I really want to do here, like e4 and get the rook to the d2 square. Ooh, I played this move. It's such a nice looking move. Oh no, my rook. Yeah, the problem for white is this is a massive threat. And making looped for the king doesn't really help because I play rook d1 and then I take, and then the knight is pinned to the rook on a1. And if white moves back, then I just start cleaning up. Like rook takes f2 and rook d2 to follow. So very pleasant game. I'm a little bit sad that Roxie is not witnessing such a beautiful position. But maybe some people in chat are still watching. Steak, steak. Steak, steak. You hear that, Roxie? Roxy's falling asleep. Wait, do I play rook d2 or take on f2 first? It probably doesn't make a huge difference. This might be a little bit more accurate. Welcome back to Wario the movie. Something about steaks and ducks and quacks. Yeah, we might end up seeing white in Zugzwang here. I'm playing rook b2 to prevent rook b1. The knight's completely stuck. This rook's tied down to g2, and this rook is stuck. So life is very good here. Now the bishop's unleashed. Maybe g5. I'm trying to calculate some en passant checkmate. That would require forcing g4. Yeah, let's start with g5. Threatening maiden 1. Can you remind what Zugzwang is? So Zugzwang, it's a chess term. It refers to a position where one side basically has to self-destruct. Yeah, usually it's a position where you're pretty much paralyzed, and any move you make, you lose something in some way. So this looks like checkmate in 2. Bishop e5 and then g4 checkmate. Okay, creating the smiley face. Yeah, so I could try and show an example. Like, let's imagine white didn't play king h2, but played something like, actually, I don't know, like A3 maybe? Let's say A3, A4, H4, here, 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 here. So yeah, so let's take this position. This would be a nice example of zugzwang, where whatever white does, it loses something. Like if white moves the knight, I just take the knight. If white moves the this rook, I'll take it. And if white moves this rook, I win the pawn. And then have some mating ideas. Oh, thank you, Adventures in Crypto. Yeah, I have to get Roxie back at some point after her nap. So anyway, this is I think a nice example of zugzwang where white would rather pass the turn rather than make a move. Very often you see zugzwang in like much later in the endgame, but this is a nice one where white has a lot of pieces, but really nothing can move effectively. So bear with me one moment. I'm going to try and create, or allow for text to speech. How do I do this though? Studio mode. Add application. Okay. I have no idea if I'm making this work or not. Transition. Do people hear that? Yeah, it doesn't look like the text to speech is working. And I don't know why. And I don't think there's anything I can do about it. Audio. Thank you, Leo Spaceman. Anyway, I'll troubleshoot for the future. Try and find a way to add TTS. So we're moving on to another game. Yeah, I hope the quality is good overall. I don't think I've dropped any frames so far. It's a different feel streaming from a MacBook compared to like Windows PC, like desktop setup. Wait, is Lichess detecting my stream? Oh, they are. Okay. Is Windows greater than Mac? I know everyone has their own opinions. I use both. I don't really have a clear favorite. I guess for more things, I probably use Mac, but for streaming and for chess study, I use Windows. Okay, so we have a King's Pawn opening. What to do? I play so much Ponziani. I think I'll play a 4 knights. I'm actually thinking about playing the Belgrade Gambit, which is one of these like lesser known openings, which I know which Daniel Naroditsky has made some content on recently. And I'll admit, I don't know too much theory here, but I know it's a tricky line. A lot of players are not prepared in this position from the black side. Thank you, Bet is up. I appreciate the good luck bits. Yeah, Ponziani will return in the future at some point, but gotta have some new experiences once in a while. Big Mac is greater than Wendy's. And this discussion took an unexpected turn. Bishop c5. Bishop c5 looks like a very natural move, defending the pawn. But I have a feeling it's probably not the best move for black, because, I mean, one of the main ideas with knight d5 is to pin the knight and then just put more pressure on it. So let's see what black will do against this. After the game, I can show like the best continuation for black. The best move after knight d5 was actually not so simple at all. So h6. So I can take the knight with the bishop or my knight and force a recapture. Bishop f4 also consideration. Maybe I should have considered bishop f4 right away. I could also just keep the tension, like play bishop h4. And then if g5, do I dare sacrifice? Choices, choices. Yeah, I'm actually not sure here. Like, this visually looks very good for white. I'm trying to find a logical follow-up. Maybe queen d2, queen f4 is an idea. Yeah, maybe that's the way to go. Like, so take, queen d2, d6, queen f4. And f6 is actually very hard to defend. And in some cases, like castle queenside, get the rook to the d file. And now it's, yeah, it's very unlikely black will castle kingside. When I'm hungry, I prefer Mac. When I'm lonely, I prefer Windows. It's very deep. Yeah, I do all like video editing and Photoshop on the Mac. Which actually means like I could maybe do a Photoshop stream. Maybe design a thumbnail on stream. Show the behind the scenes. I'm not a Linux user. I know there's fans of Linux out there though. Yeah, so bishop b4 is not a concern. I will say, actually going back to the beginning position of the Belgrade, the best move for black is knight b4. But it's not the type of move you really consider if you haven't seen it before. Knight b4 is like a very abstract idea that the engine does support. Do you have a crock pot? I have like a slow cooker thing, which I'll admit I haven't really used. I have a rice cooker, microwave, toaster, etc. a5. Okay, so black really wants to achieve this move. The drawback of a5, it's kind of slow to do anything in the center. And I think I just continue with my plan. And I'm not only hitting f6, I'm also hitting c7. A move like bishop b4 probably just backfires, like c3 and then take. And life will be very good. No, I don't have an air fryer. I have friends with air fryers. I might get one at some point. I have an oven though, so some alternative. Roxie. You wanna go outside? You wanna go outside? I'll be right back. Okay. Roxie woke up from her very brief nap, getting some outdoor time. All right, and try this arrow again. Knight takes f6. King f8. And then probably e5. Although I should calculate. So knight f6, king f8, e5. Knight takes e5, knight takes e5, queen e7. What's going on there? Knight g4, f6. There's also h5. Well, h5 I just castle. f6. I castle. Bishop takes, takes, takes. I take. In the very end, wait, did I miss a move? Wait, one more time. Okay, knight takes f6, king f8, e5, takes, takes, and queen e7, knight g4, f6, castle, take, take, take. And then take, and then take, and then take. That's equal material in the end. I think I should go for this and maybe consider alternatives. I could take with queen first too, but I don't think I want to trade queen so early. I'll gift 100 bits if you pre-move the lot. Unfortunately, there's no multi-pre-moves on lichess. I could pre-move e5, although now I can't because black already played. I don't think I would do that for 100 bits though. But I like the nature of e5. I guess with e5 there is queen e7 right away though. And then it could lead into a similar line. Thank you, Uber Schudel. Still cheering some bits. You know, alternatively, I could play queen f5 or queen h4, though queen h4, bishop e7. Yeah, let's go for e5. I think we're likely to get the variation that I was considering. Oh yeah, I'm okay. I'll allow the link from Markadonk. Just sharing the tournament link in chat. Ooh. I kind of forgot this was possible. I could play king d1 though. I could also consider c3. c3 might be a little bit too scary though. I'm thinking c3, take and then castle. And then take and then king b1. Yeah, that's maybe too much. Let's play king d1. I'm losing castling rights, but I think the king should be decently safe here. And hopefully the black king is a bigger target. And like in general, the bishop isn't too much of an annoying piece. Like it's not doing too much now. It's kind of staring into empty space. And this setup seems just very, very strong. Maybe there's ideas of knight h4 to g6. Some ideas bishop c4 and target f7. Yeah, I didn't really consider knight d2. I think the reason why knight d2 is kind of out of my realm of consideration is because e5 becomes weak. Like knight d2, queen e7. And then I didn't want to end up being passive like knight g4, d6. Things would maybe crumble. So nice thing here is e5 is really well reinforced. We see d5. So I probably don't want to take en passant. But maybe I just complete development, bishop d6. And it's going to be hard for black to challenge anything. Like my king's actually really safe because the d file is very closed. Any advice for getting to 2400 rapid? I'm looking at my rating. This is classical. I should be asking advice for getting to 2400 classical. My general advice for chasing any rating is don't worry about the rating. Like when you become too fixated on rating, it can actually slow down improvement. You should be more fixated or more focused on learning something from every game. And sometimes that involves going outside your comfort zone, taking more risks, playing new types of positions or new openings, because that will help much better in the long term. So really, yeah, prioritize learning. Sometimes prioritizing learning is way more important than prioritizing winning, if that makes sense. Also, thank you to the person who got merch. Appreciate that. Okay, so knight h4. Knight h4 is like a big candidate move. I'm not sure if there's a threat to it, though. Is knight g6 a threat? I'm just realizing this is a possible check. Not sure if it does much. Knight d4, another option. Although I don't know if I want to allow the trade and c5, c4 happens. Another idea is to get my rook involved. I was thinking like h4, rook h3, rook g3. The problem is the bishop kind of restricts that. So I could also go for g5, g4, g5. But it's another like one of these middle game positions that really just have to try and figure out a plan. Maybe something like this. Eventually get in g5. Or even, yeah, g4, g5 right away, and then get the knight to g5. Let's go for that. And yeah, it's not so easy for black to, I think, find a counter plan or even generate counterplay so quickly. Like this move, I don't think black's threatening this because I can take and then have like some discovery. Maybe black wants to play this. But I think I'll continue like g5. Man, I've been playing too much spell chess. I was just calculating pawn takes g5, then I jump and take the rook. But jumping is not allowed in normal chess, at least with rooks. Yeah, if this were spell chess, there'd be some idea of like this, and then jump to take the king. Oh dear. Really have to maybe slow down with the variants that I'm playing. Yeah, I still have to try combining spell chess and duck chess. I think there is a way to combine variants on the chess.com variant server. Although I'm not sure if it's possible to combine those two variants. Anyway, this seems like a very pleasant position. I guess I could calculate, like, c5. I probably take. Actually, c5 takes c4, and then queen g5 threatening mate. There's a final position where black takes and has triple pawns, but I would deliver mate on g7. So let's say takes, and then c5. And then I can take. Where's the best discover check? Because anywhere the knight moves, the king can start trying to get to safety. Maybe after takes, c5, I don't take the bishop, I go for knight g7. Yeah, because king g7, then I'm going to have so much firepower. If rook takes, I win material and keep the initiative. Oh yeah, if you combine spell chess and duck chess, is it possible to freeze a duck? Or is a duck immune to freezing? Do you play any video games? I don't really play mainstream video games. I've never played Fortnite or Minecraft or Valorant. I play Scrabble. Scrabble, GeoGuessr. Okay, so we do see takes. So I'll take with knight. Did you get a preview of Levy's book? Apparently I'm mentioned in Levy's book. Levy sent me like a page of his book where he talks about stalemate and shows one of my games. I think he shows a game that like I tricked him into stalemating me. All right, so I could take here and then take the knight, or take here. All right, this pawn is overworked, so it's just a question how I want to consume material. I think I'll take the knight, because takes and then it's a fork. Yeah, thanks for subbing again, Zindar V. There was a comment, you could also just win the queen. Not sure if I saw how to win the queen. But at this point, I'm probably winning more than the queen. Knight h7. It'll be funny if we see king g7. It's actually kind of weird to try and figure out how I'm mating. I probably end up sacking a couple of minor pieces. Yeah, so the king is just being hugged. It's so loved in this position. But where's my mate? I could play rook g1. Can I sack my queen? Probably not. Knight h5 is probably the main candidate move I should calculate. I lose the bishop, I check. I lose a knight. Oh, and then mate. Okay, let's go for this. Yeah, so this knight is useful in preventing king f8. The king can't really run or hide here. I'm not going to play the whole tournament. I already like late joined the tournament. But yeah, I won't be streaming for another 4 hours. Okay, so there goes my bishop. It's actually equal material now. 2 knights for 2 bishops. But let's give away another knight. at least one of the knights. If black takes this knight, it's mate in 1. If black takes this knight, where's the mate? It's like weird. The queen and bishop cover a lot of squares. I guess I have this move. Oh yeah, this is mate in 2. Yeah, queen takes, it's mate. King h6, it's mate. Okay. That was a pleasant game. Let's analyze. Oh, so bishop c5 is actually a fine move according to the engine. I played bishop g5. But I guess, yeah, it's unnatural to play bishop c5 and then black probably has to play bishop e7 here. Opponent played h6 and then, yeah, I found what was probably one of the best continuations. It was actually a pretty clean game. e5, king d1, and then gradually built up. Almost perfect game, actually. 96% accuracy. Apart from playing the Belgrade, which maybe is a slightly dubious opening objectively. So yeah, for those that don't know how to play against the Belgrade, that maybe would enter this position as black, the best move is knight b4. And it's one of these moves you just kind of have to know about and remember. The idea is black is targeting the knight, and there's a funny line if white takes the knight and tries to win the pawn. Like, let's say knight takes d4 here. Knight takes d4, not the most common move, but if white plays this, then queen takes d4. Oh no, my queen. And then knight takes e2 with the fork, and black is going to be up a piece. So there's a question from Tuzajin. Move 15, something to h7. Oh, that's interesting. Like bishop h7, threatening mate in 1. Probably should have considered that. Yeah, I didn't even consider it. Black maybe has to go for this. Yeah, it still takes some calculation because then the threat is rook takes h7. I have to gauge if g5 works, which it probably does, but oh, maybe not. Yeah, maybe I just have to move the bishop back. There was a question earlier from someone. I'm trying to find it. Oh yeah, from Sepper. How to fight against the Italian. Yeah, there's different ways for white to play against against like a king's pawn. So I guess it depends which Italian you're referring to. But someone mentions like, yeah, the fried liver, or at least starting with 2 knights, and then if this, there's a lot of aggressive lines here. Like obviously there's Traxler, there's d5. Like the main line is pretty aggressive. It's a Gambit line. But I think objectively it's completely fine for black. There's this crazy like b5 move. I think it's here, b5, the Ovestad variation. There's also bishop c5. Like, yeah, so in this position, bishop c5, and then this is a more traditional Italian, like c3, knight f6, castle, castle. And there's a lot of branches from here. If you want one recommendation, I could recommend a6. And then if we follow like the main moves for white, bishop b3, you stay flexible. Put the bishop on a7 immediately. Bishop's useful here where d4 doesn't come with tempo. Most people play knight d2. Then you can castle. And there's a line here, okay, h3 is most common, but if white goes for rook e1, there's a cool idea to play knight g4. And this is one of my favorite aggressive ideas. Attack f2, rook e2 is most natural. And then king h8 preparing this f5 move. And in Master's Database, you can find this game between Spraggett against Adams. And Adams won a very nice game. h3, knight h6, knight f1, f5. And even after white takes, it looks ugly for black, but black actually has really nice harmony with the pieces, attacking potential, and the whole game kind of shows how black can tear apart white's kingside. If white plays an early bishop e3, it's nothing to be concerned about. I think bishop e3 is generally met with taking and then d5. Take, take. Yeah, d6 or d5. d5 is maybe a bit more active. And target the pawn, put the bishop here. Yeah, there's times in chess where you can't be super aggressive, but at least you can be solid from the opening. So, I go back to tournament. Back to tournament. Let's rejoin. I'll probably play one more. I'm happy to take opening requests if there's any opening people want to see. Oh, is there an Emery take game in that line too? I didn't even notice. Maybe he's had similar experiences in that line. King's Gambit. Belgrade Gambit I just played. I could try and play it again. Smith Mora, Nimzo. Okay, if d4, I'll go for Nimzo. Evans Gambit, Wing Gambit. Wing Gambit can be played against a few different openings. Okay, how about this? If my opponent plays d4, okay, I'll go for Nimzo. I was gonna say if e4, I would go for an Italian. Hey, we have Nimzo-Indian. Yeah, Nimzo has been like one of my main weapons over the years. More recently, I've been playing more Queen's Gambit Declined. And Bishop d2 is not the most common move, although it is, I think, becoming a bit more trendy of recently. Now, the drawback of Bishop d2, it's a little bit passive, and it does allow black to play actively. So c5 is nice multi-purpose, defending and pressuring the center. Wow. Castling queenside. Yeah, it's very rare you see white castling so early in a queen's pawn opening like this. So I'd really like to punish this move somehow. Taking is one option. I think the most natural move is knight c6. It's just like, seems like by far the most natural square for the knight. And now I have knight d4, which will hit the queen. And it prevents queen c2. So, I mean, queen a4 I think is the only safe square for the queen. I'm already looking for ways to trap the queen, like a6 b5 or d6 bishop d7. b5 immediately is also interesting. If I give white time, white wants to play this and target my knight. So calculating d6, e3, bishop d7. And then knight b5 is pretty much forced. I guess I trade everything and win the center pawn. Yeah, let's play d6 here. This is like a dream come true, Nimzo. Like white's king and queen are both targets. Nice activity in the center. More development for black too. So we see knight b5 right away. I think I'll take first and then go for this. I also have knight, knight e4 here. Also looks attractive. I mean, this type of position, there's a lot of good looking options. I really just have to choose one. Knight e4, black sacks exchange. Oh, but then I win. Yeah, maybe knight e4 is a better way to go. Horsies look very powerful here. Yeah, now I take. And I'm either winning this rook or the other rook. White can't save both. Why not h3? Unless you mean why not a6? a6 was probably also working at some point. But yeah, again, I basically had to choose between ice cream and cookies. Both options were pretty sweet. Okay, let's take. There's f5. Looking at queen b6. Also looking at this move. Doesn't do much. Maybe just bishop f5, just complete development. Bishop d3 gets forked. Oh, I could also take first and then fork. Drive the king to e4. Because if I play this immediately, there is bishop c2, or knight h4 just hangs a piece, so. Take. Nah, this looks pretty good. Knight moves to d4, I have bishop d7. And the queen and bishop are hanging. Yeah, I'm basically getting the ice cream and the cookies and some banana split, some free queen. Okay, too delicious. Yeah, most Nimzos don't go that well for black. Thanks to the person who asked me to play the Nimzo. Had a fun game there. I can check with engine, like see. So takes. Yeah, 94 is up there. Any mistakes this game? No, another very clean game. Although it is still crunching. Refresh. Let's go. Another pretty much perfect game. Got the cherry on top. Okay, yeah, at the beginning of the stream, I said this will not be a long stream, and I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. This is really just a test of the new setup. This probably won't be a permanent setup, but it's good to know that I think things are working for the most part. I do have a few things to troubleshoot with text-to-speech, but I appreciate everyone tuning in. I hope people learned a thing or two. So this will still take some getting used to. One of the reasons why I switched the setup today, my microphone broke on my other setup, and my other setup was also not like recognizing this microphone for some reason, but my MacBook Pro recognizes it, so had to work around some of the technical issues. But yeah, again, thank you everyone. I appreciate all of the support and good vibes. And what to do? I can send... There's a lot of people streaming chess. I think I'll send a raid to a streamer. I don't think I've raided him before. Twitch channel Thinker Teacher. I'm pretty sure he's been in chat on this stream. Looks like he's doing some instructive session with Andres. So send some good vibes. And I'll be back soon.